Welcome to Wet and Worthy Woman. Not just a podcast, but a global revolution. A movement of women taking back the burned, silenced, suppressed, shamed, and forbidden parts of our feminine truth. You're here to heal the rebel woman way and take back all that you've been told not to be as a woman. Join me, Charlotte Little, founder of The Wild Femme, trauma survivor and liberation leader, to reclaim your ancient feminine codes from society, shame, and suppression as we have these juicy, rebellious conversations to set your soul free. Prepare to fuck yourself back to freedom, and welcome to the Wet and Worthy Woman Revolution. My love, this weekend on the 15th of February, reminder, I am hosting you a divine free event called Adored. If you are done with mediocre love and intimacy that's nice, but it's not really fucking obliterating you into unstoppable surrender, this is what your feminine has been aching for. It's you, babe. Your feminine has been aching for you. This is the free event where you will activate your inner lover so that you can stop feeling like the option, stop feeling like the last priority, stop chasing them for attention, and become the center of your own self-worth and love again. If you're ready to love from wholeness and not from desperation, and you want to feel more connected to yourself than ever and 10 times your intimacy, then come and awaken your inner lover at Adored. The link will be in the show notes, or you can visit thewildfemme.com/adored. It's only going to be happening and available for a few days, so come and join us. It's free. I love you. Hello, incredible wet and worthy woman, and welcome to today's conversation. I have an incredible guest sitting in front of me. Monica is here to share all about the breasts. I can't believe we've never, ever spoken about the breasts, the heart space of our feminine body. We've never spoken about it on the podcast. So thank you, Monica. I'm going to introduce you with your amazing words that you've sent me. So, Monica O'Connor is the founder of Alchemy Within Her, a ritual architecture for the feminine nervous system. Her work isn't about fixing or performing healing. It's about letting what's real move through the body. Through touch and sacred formulation, Monica guides women beneath the stories they've been told and back into the raw, messy beauty of who they actually are, where remembrance rewires the system from within. And I have to say that reading those words, it really resonates for me, because I've been using your incredible breast alchemy balm for my massage clients recently, for my yoni massage clients, where I give them a full body 2-hour ceremony and then we go into yoni massage, and the breasts are part of that ceremony. And repeatedly, this breast alchemy balm has brought my clients into deeper surrender and tears of release. The first client I ever tested this on actually cried when she smelt it, because I always check with people, are you sensitive skin? Are you okay with essential oils? And I let her smell it. And she cried when she smelt it, because she's been on this journey of detoxing toxic products from her life and getting as authentic as she can in her body. And the breast balm smelt so real and so true for her that it brought her to tears of relief, of oh my God, this smells like truth. This is what my body wants. So welcome, Monica. Do you want to add anything to your amazing introduction?
Thank you so much for that introduction. I'm so glad that your clients are loving it so much. That's what it's made for. It's made to bring women home to their bodies. So that's really beautiful that it's out there in the world doing exactly what it's designed to do.
Yeah, it really is. And it's so divine and delicious. And I can't wait to let you tell everyone about why connecting with our breasts as women is really important beyond sexuality. So, firstly, I want to ask, what's your story? How did you arrive to making these incredible rituals, these incredible balms, these incredible alchemy products for women? What brought you into that space?
Yeah, sure. So for the past 30 odd years, I've been working with women's bodies. So through massage, I'm an aromatherapist, a womb priestess, a Reiki master, and I've studied herbal energetics because I'm such a believer in the energetic system of our body is where we hold so much truth, and that can help bring us back to our bodies. So it kind of initially started with my clients where I do sort of like an occasional, I'd run them through like an intuitive meditation just to help ground them a little bit. And it worked. And they were loving it and they were asking for more. So it sort of then went into running meditations and then went into rituals through women's circles. And I have this deep belief, well, I've seen it happen and I've experienced it myself, that if you pair ritual with anything, whether that be massage, intimacy with another person or with yourself, fascia release, even eating a meal, if you pair that with ritual, it deepens everything and it expands the energy and it makes everything that much more powerful and more beautiful. So with that, with the balm, I originally was making a breast oil and I felt that it wasn't enough. It didn't feel alive enough, I think, for want of a better word. And so I was like, okay, many eons ago, I used to make all my own cosmetics. And so I thought, I'm going to get back into that knowledge and what can I create to make this feel alive? I don't want it to feel like skincare. And the breast oil kind of felt a little bit, just like a massage oil. And so I went back, not into my notes, they no longer exist. But okay, what can I do? What ingredients? So they were already had essential oils which were integral for tissue health. So I thought, okay, I'm going to bring in herbs. So herbs that are integral for the tissue health of the breast. So like there's an example is there's dandelion. And dandelion flowers help to relax the breast tissue. And
Mm.
that's so important. Um, and then, I sort of macerated the herbs they do get macerated over a 6 week period. So it's a really slow infusion. So you're not just getting those physical properties, you're getting the emotional and the energetic properties of the herbs, which people forget herbs even have. Then you add in the essential oils. Then there's a couple of other ingredients. Don't, have you ever heard of ormus?
No.
ORMUS. So it's so I'm not particularly good at explaining it, so please excuse if there's any experts listening. But it's like an alchemy type thing. So heavy salt is used with water and it does some alchemical process which turns it into something else so that it works on an energetic level. So there's this amazing place in America which makes an ormus oil. So I thought that's perfect. I need that because when you take it by dropper, if it's the water, but obviously the oil, you can also take that, but I'm using it in the balm. That begins the communication of the cells because our cells have forgotten how to communicate with each other. And then we have oil of gold, which is made by this incredible place in America. And it's like almost like an essential oil of gold. That's probably the best way to describe it. And gold works to lift on an energetic level. It lifts things. It's another opener. So everything's been designed to open up that expression of your heart, of your breasts, and to begin a conversation with your body because we've forgotten how to do that. And if you're doing that massage, as you know, you do massage yourself and ceremony is a ritual, then everything begins to shift and change, and you are beginning a conversation that you may never have had because our breasts are kind of forgotten about unless it's to do with sex or breastfeeding.
Mm, thank you so much. I really want to like touch on that point about, whatever you bring ritual into, it becomes deeper, it becomes more
Yeah.
felt. And this is what I try and preach to women a lot of the time in my work with connecting to our pussy as well. It's like, yeah, you
Yes.
can you can rub one out. You can grab your little silicone buzzy battery operated friend, which is great, and I don't want to shame that. Like you get your pleasure in multiple ways. But when you take the time to touch your skin first, caress your breasts, do a breast massage before you go down there, then
Yeah.
even if you were to still rub one out or just use a vibrator and not kind of go a bit slower or explore a different kind of touch, it would be a whole other world of experience. I never forget one
Yeah.
friend of mine who then became a client, and I told her, why don't you just try like stroking your inner thighs for a few minutes before you touch your clitoris? And she messaged me afterwards. She was like, oh my god, I literally took 2.5 minutes to just stroke my thighs and
Yeah.
everything changed. And it's like, yeah, because you make it more of a ritual. Instead of let's go here to get something, you're going here without the agenda. You're going there just with love and space and presence. And
Yeah.
that's a really powerful message of yours. I love that you said, there's this kind of dark side of healing where it can become a bit of a self-improvement addiction. So how do we stop healing and connecting with our body? How do we stop that becoming another project? And how do we make it remembrance, as you call it? And yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love you to speak on that, specifically with the breasts and the cells talking to each other, like you said.
Yeah, of course. So, well, if you think about ritual has been around in some form, probably ever since humans have existed. So it's a language that our body automatically understands. So we
Mm.
don't need to read a book or go to a workshop or do whatever it is we feel that we need to do. So that's the first thing, and I think that's really important to remember. Secondly, we've been taught to view our bodies as projects or spirituality as a project. But in this case, I'll talk about our body. And then it kind of becomes performative. And we're not doing it really even for ourselves. We're sort of doing it for the kudos of, wow, look at you. You're amazing. You did that type thing. Do you know what I mean? I can tell you do. But yeah, so it becomes then, so the way to leave that at the door where it belongs, because that's never going to stay with you and it's never going to create any lasting changes. It's like, when you go to a weekend workshop and you leave that workshop and you're like, oh my God, that was so amazing. And you tell everyone about it. You've got to go to this workshop. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. It's incredible. It will change your life. And then 2 or 3 days later, your life is a bit shit and probably you feel exactly like you did before because all you've done is intellectualize everything. You haven't actually felt anything and you haven't been present. So by bringing ritual in will automatically make you present to whatever it is you're doing. And when you're present, that's when the magic happens. Even when you're rubbing one out, it takes it from, oh, that was good to like, man, that was amazing. I think I might do that again, maybe in 2 minutes type thing. Um, and so with your breasts, we've, we forget about them. We often denigrate them. We allow other people to denigrate them. I mean, I had a terrible relationship with my breasts. I thought they were too small. I would have partners saying, oh, it's a shame your boobs are so small. And I would apologize and be like, I'm so sorry. Like, what madness is that? Like, the poor darlings are just there trying to live their best life. And so it's a matter of becoming By ritualizing it, you're becoming present with who you are. And when you're present, you can't hide.
Mm,
And one of the beautiful things about a breast massage is not only do you get to, you obviously touching your breasts, you get to feel what you like and what turns you on and pleasure, but you're going over your heart center constantly. And so you're opening up that heart area. And that can cause, I mean, I know the first time for me, it was physically painful. And if I had been asked if I had an open heart, I would have said yes. But through massage, I was like, oh no, I was so shut down. And it physically hurt. It was emotionally painful. There's lots of snot, lots of tears, lots of anger, grief, all of those things that happen when we start to let go of things that we didn't even know we were holding on to. And with our breasts, they're energetic portals. So our body holds or our body remembers what our mind can't hold. So trauma, pain gets blocked in our breasts, in our entire body, but particularly in our breasts because they're such a tender part of us. And they also carry our lineage. So what our mothers carried and our grandmothers carried and their grandmothers carried and so on. So, so that suppression, that constant caretaking, every time you've let a boundary go and you're like, oh no, I'm fine. And you smile, it's fine, don't worry about it. That is getting held in your breasts. And so by beginning to massage them, you may not feel anything necessarily for a while. Our breasts are often quite desensitized as well on a physical level. But if you can create, excuse me, if you can create a regular practice, if you can make that time to create a regular practice, everything begins to change. And when those tears and the anger and the grief come up, stay with it. Don't run. Stay with yourself and allow yourself to hold yourself. Like it's almost like if you had a friend and you treated that friend really poorly and you were always horrible to them. And then after, 20, 30 odd years, you thought, yeah, I'd actually like to build a relationship with this friend now because I can tell they've been here for me this whole time and I've treated them really badly. It takes time to build that relationship. It takes time to build that trust. And when you've held on to stuff, it takes time to let that go and to be kind to yourself. Because if you judge yourself throughout that process, which I understand is really easy to do, then you're kind of staying in that freeze. And we're not here to be frozen. We're here to,
mm,
to thaw and to melt and to relax. Our bodies are miraculous, beautiful beings, and we forget that in everyday life.
mm.
That was a very long answer. Sorry.
That was a beautiful, magnificent answer, and it touches on so many of the life experiences that I've had and that I've witnessed my clients go through as well. And yeah, in Tantra, which is the kind of massage I give, is known as tantric massage, although I do weave it with many other healing modalities, and I don't love to label it as just tantric because there's a lot in the tantric
Yeah.
massage that I don't
Which
agree
is,
with. Yeah, it
yes,
is quite a
yes,
gender driven tantric
yes.
massage, and I prefer
It
to
can be.
make it a presence healing space with no agenda. But
And no
we call,
charge. There's a lot of
yeah,
charge too, unfortunately.
yeah, there's so much charge, there's so much expectation. The amount of people that email me every week expecting a hand job or an orgasm, and I'm like, no, you'll be on a deep
Yeah.
journey. You'll be crying. You won't be having an orgasm. You'll probably fucking cry. You'll
You'll be
remember like,
sobbing on the floor.
yeah, you'll be sobbing on the floor, remembering your deepest childhood trauma. I'm sorry, but it's
Yeah,
not that type of massage.
exactly.
We call in tantric massage the breasts bells of the heart or extensions of arms of the heart. because they are known, the tissues of the breast are known to hold on to that energy of, I like to say to my clients, the energy of relationship, unprocessed emotions in relationship, or unprocessed trauma and grief from relationships. So it could be heartbreak of someone you didn't fully get over. It could be the guilt of cheating on a past partner. It could be the walls of armor that you built, and this is a personal one now for me, the walls of armor that I built to not let people in because of my absent dad. I was like, okay, well, love's not safe. Let's just shut this down and be super independent and not let anyone in. And that was a really long
I
process for
hear
me
you.
to soften. Yeah. So the walls of the heart, like you said, you think your heart's open and then you'd go to massage it and you're like, the walls start crumbling down, usually in the form of tears. And I was going to ask you about numbness because a lot of women ask me then, okay, well, I don't feel any pleasure through my breasts. I don't feel any like orgasmic sensation through my breasts. Is that because of all of this built up, unprocessed, unspoken boundaries? Is it because of all of that I'm numb? And honestly, yeah, of course that plays a part in it. I mean, I give de-armoring. I deeply believe the body holds armor, and my job in women's bodies is to let that armor go, specifically in the vagina and the pussy. But for me, years and years and years of breast massage. I even did breast massage every day for 6 months once as a
Wow.
challenge to see if I could wake up some sensation in my breasts. And yes, I'm much more aware of them. There is more sensation because I'm so much more present with them. Yes, they have softened and they have got more love from me because I had the same insecurity around having small breasts. An ex once told me I had the body of a 12-year-old boy. That definitely stuck with me for a while, thinking I had no curves.
Yes, I
So
can relate to that one. I've had almost the same. Yeah.
yeah, it's so sad to be shamed
Mm.
for being like this term flat-chested, like. And so yeah, I reclaimed my small boobs and I fucking love them now. I fucking love the size of my boobs, and they still don't feel that pleasurable and orgasmic. So what is that numbness? Because so many women ask me about that. And I don't like to necessarily put a label on it and say, oh yeah, it's because you need to heal your trauma. I don't think it works like that. I think some people just have more nerve endings maybe than others. But what's your experience with the breasts and waking up sensation and that numbness that a lot of us are feeling there?
Yeah, okay. I think I agree with you. I think with some people have more nerve endings than others. It's literally a physiological thing. And it can be because, again, like you were saying, because you're holding trauma, you're holding emotion there. But there also can be, if you think too, our breasts for, women who choose to have children, they choose to breastfeed. So then there can be a lot of shame around feeling pleasure, sexual pleasure from your breasts when breasts are for nourishing a baby. So it's almost like a Madonna and whore complex, but around the
Mm.
breasts because they go, well, no, that can't be okay because that's to nurture my child. So how could I possibly even think of feeling pleasure because that's kind of dirty and wrong, and that would mean that there's something wrong with me. So I think in some ways it's a deep societal conditioning as well.
Mm.
Um, I've I'm one of those women who does have a lot of sensation. However, in saying that, I had a lot of difficulty breastfeeding my children. But I was also in an abusive relationship. So that also, obviously comes with its own set of stuff. So that certainly did not help in any way, shape, or form.
Mm.
Um, but it's so much to do, and so you would find with your work, Charlotte, is there is so much shame around being a sexual woman. Even now, even though we have all these, we reclaim, we have yoni de-armoring, We're reclaiming the pussy, and it's so much more accepted. There's still, I think, an inherent societal shame around our sexuality, and that affects how we feel about our bodies, about our breasts, about sex in general. And the answer, I don't, I'm not going to claim to know the answer, but I feel that, again, I'm just going to come back to ritual. There is this, it's a tantric practice, so you're possibly aware of it, I would imagine. But it's where your partner, like, I don't know, sitting against the headboard of the bed, for example, and you're leaning back of them, so your bare back is on their chest and they're holding your breasts. They're not massaging, they're not tweaking, they're not doing anything, they're literally just holding them. And then with presence, of course. And then when you feel safe, you let your partner know. And then, because when you feel safe is when your heart's going to be open. And that will completely change that experience for both of you. And you would also, when you're feeling intense pleasure, then, your partner feeds off that, feed for want of a better word, feeds off that pleasure, and you kind of then keep both going higher and higher and higher together. So having, as much as possible, an open heart, I believe, will make a difference. But it also could be like anything, like some people, their second toe is bigger than their big toe, and other people it's the other way around. Sometimes I think it can just be the way we're made. I feel really blessed that I get a lot of sexual pleasure from my breasts. I think I'd be really sad if I didn't, but maybe I wouldn't, because I wouldn't know any difference. But yeah, did that answer your question?
Yeah, that was insane. I had this like mind-blowing moment when you were talking about. So you fucking love this podcast, right? You love that we're spiritual rebels. We swear we're not trying to be this white light and love piece of peace. We are feral, savage, wild, real, emotional, deep, intense women. This is the space where your too much finally feels normal, where you finally feel seen as a woman. And I know that you tell me all the time that this podcast is activating you to finally feel so safe in your sexuality, to take up more space, to express your needs in the bedroom. Your sex life has gotten better, and so have your orgasms. So imagine what happens when you spend 5 days in person with me, naked in the sauna, having deep chats, going into strip temples where we fucking bow and worship each other as women, and our insecurities get obliterated into unbelievable she-wolf level power. Imagine spending 5 days actually embodying all of the wisdom that you've been binging and consuming in Wet and Worthy Woman, the podcast. That's where Wet and Worthy Woman, the 5-day retreat, comes into your life and changes everything for good. Because you don't need to consume more, babe. You need to actually become the woman you feel clawing under the surface. Let's face it, you're not new to the work. You've been fucking evolving and shifting and growing as a spiritual woman. You are a conscious woman, and you go deep with yourself. In fact, you live to go deep with yourself. But did your sexuality go with you? Did you bring your vagina into that journey? This is the room where we go deep spiritually, but we also talk about being fucked to God. And you howl as you remember your birthright to orgasm, as you remember that the pleasure you've been giving away to someone else and providing as a service is done. As you wake up, the shameless, safe sexuality that you have always deserved. This is your invitation. Wet and Worthy Woman is only happening one more time in Tenerife. The retreat is happening March 26th to 30th, 2026. Applications are open. There's only a few spots left, and all the links will be in the show notes, or you can go to thewildfemme.com/retreat. Babe, you fucking belong in this room. Come and spend 5 days with me. You will never, ever, ever forget it. Women feeling shame because maybe as they are breastfeeding their child, they're feeling
pleasure.
They're feeling pleasure. They're feeling sexual pleasure. Their clitoris is lighting up, and they're like, "Oh my God, but this is my child. I can't be turned on by my child." It circles back to a lot of my clients and a lot of women in general, anyone listening that may have experienced a sexual trauma or a violation, but felt pleasure during that unconsensual experience. And it's a body reaction, right? But we're shaming our body for doing what it naturally does.
That's right, exactly, because our body can't necessarily process that at that time that sexual experience is unwanted.
Yeah.
And so then there's that shame around that. So maybe I asked for it. And I agree with you, that shame about, someone breastfeeding their baby and feeling pleasure, thinking, what is wrong with me? I am, a terrible person. This should not be happening. And so then they shut down that part of themselves, even if it's unconscious, like anything, it can be a conversation that you overhear as a child, which doesn't make any sense to you then, and you're not even aware of it, but you then carry that within your body and it becomes part of your truth and part of your story. So that's at least by massaging our breasts, we're releasing those stories those that are ours and those that are not.
Yeah.
And I really love what you do. I love that work you do around helping women reclaim their bodies after sexual trauma, because it's so important. And, because it's an experience that unfortunately is too common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for speaking that. I can't remember who it was I was speaking to in the last few days, but it was around my work. Oh yeah, it was with my friend who's a business coach. And she's like thriving, constant flow of clients. And I'm thriving. I won't buy into the lack scarcity consciousness, but there hasn't necessarily been a constant flow of clients in the past year for me. And when I opened up to her about that, she said, yeah, but you're so niche and there's so much trauma sexually in our world that of course there's gonna be people are less likely to be as open to reclaiming their sexuality as they are to making shit tons of money and starting a business. So she's like, of course I'm getting loads of clients because everyone wants to make shit tons of money and start a business and do what they love, but not everyone is quite ready and willing to face the deepest trauma that runs in themselves or their family lineage. So it's definitely a huge thing, and the breasts are a healing part of that, because again, in Tantra it's believed that we need to open the breasts and open the heart for the pussy to open. So before I do any sexual trauma healing body work on women, I work with the breasts. I work with emotional safety for multiple hours before I work with their yoni and their pussy, because it is so important. And if anyone makes love to a woman listening, or any woman listening, let your partner know. My heart wants to feel safe. And that practice Monica just gave of just having stillness is the most profound way to open that safety, because it's no agenda. It's not saying you need to be turned on and open so I can fuck you. It's saying, I'm holding space for your body to actually feel what safety feels like in intimacy for the first time of your life. And that is really deeply healing. And I'd love to touch on that a bit more with you. about opening the breasts to, like you said, because then you feel more, right? If someone was to do that practice first, she would feel more sensation and pleasure. And
That's right.
it is really safety that and the open heart that allows us to feel more pleasure in the bedroom. I recorded a podcast episode a while ago, but it's one of my most listened episodes, which was called The Most Profound Sexual Experience of My Life. And it was with my wonderful husband. And we had quite a deep conversation at some point last year about all our fears, all our biggest fears. And I was like, tell me your biggest fears. And after we had that conversation about our fears and we opened so vulnerably with one another about our deepest fears, our hearts were so open because the other person was receiving, they weren't judging, they weren't shaming, they weren't fixing, they were just holding space and listening. He was listening to me, I was listening to him, no judgment, just sacred space. It felt so safe and our hearts were so open that I had the best sex of my life. Like my pleasure was through the roof, out of this world, otherworldly sensations, not because of what he was doing with his fingers, his hand, his tongue, but because of my heart feeling so safe. And like, this is the real true healing magic of the breasts, that a numb woman can go from hating sex, completely numb, feeling like she gets nothing from it, and within a short conversation where she finally feels emotionally safe, she can finally feel the orgasms that she never thought that she could feel. So yeah, I'd love to talk on that and how women can feel more by nourishing the breasts first, and how we can educate our partner on that.
Yes, yes, I love that. I love that story. Thank you for sharing. But it's really true. But the way we can feel that the most is we need to be feel safe to be vulnerable with ourselves because a lot of us can't even do that. You know, we push it away, we pretend it's not there. You know, we might occasionally whisper it to ourselves. You know, like if we wake up in the middle of the night to do a wee, you go, oh yeah. But we don't want to actually face it because it's scary. These things are scary. And we're taught that if something's scary, you stay away from it, you turn away. So by being present with yourself first and beginning that relationship with your breasts, with your heart center, and feeling safe to be vulnerable with you, whether that's, you know, verbally talking what's going on for you out loud in an empty room or, you know, sharing it with a girlfriend, writing it down, whatever it may be, but getting it actually out of your body. It can't kind of stay in your head. That's not going to help you. You need to feel it and then get it out. Burn it, get it out, burn it. That's always, what I actually really love doing is a ritual. This is one of my favorite rituals to do if I'm really feeling a whole heap of stuff. And I don't always want to write things down, you know, so I will go into a meditative space. I sort of like I go down these stairs and I picture myself, I call it like a primordial forest, so like a beautiful forest. It's always a European forest, which is funny since I live in Australia, but I feel more connected to the European trees. Um, and sort of like winding my way through a path, like through almost like a deer's path, and then finding this fire where there's a circle of women around it. And I join hands with the women and, you know, we sing or we chant. And then it's my turn to go into the fire. And sometimes it's, you know, the color of flames, or sometimes it could be green or purple or pink. It just depends. And it's, you know, a really big, like a big bonfire. And I'd set an intention that what I've released is going to be burnt away because I don't need to carry that anymore in my body or my being. And I step into that fire and sometimes I'll be in there for 5, 10 minutes, 15, 20. Sometimes it might only be a minute or two, and then I step out the other side, and then I will slowly sort of bring myself out of that space. But that I find clears so much stuff for me. I love it. I've been doing it for years. I've taught my kids how to do it. Like it just, friends I've talked about it with as well. Yeah, I've done it with clients. It clears things without you having to physically write them down. Some people aren't writers. You can type things out, but you don't want to really like chuck out your phone or bury your laptop. I think it's good to sort of give this stuff back to the earth because she's there, like she's willing to take it. We have a beautiful symbiotic relationship with the earth. We give and we receive and we give and we receive.
Mm.
And that's something that works really well. But until we are in that relationship with ourselves with an open heart, it's very difficult to create with somebody else. And it's also difficult to attract somebody else who also has an open heart because that's part of it. And if you're in a relationship and you've been in a relationship for 10, 15 plus years, by you opening up your own heart, that gives them permission without them even realizing it to open up theirs. And it can bring a whole new life to your relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, this is beautiful and it's absolutely true. I know that when men started to be vulnerable with me, I'm heterosexual, unfortunately. I'd love to be more gay. I'm just not. I've tried a few times. Apparently, yeah.
Not my thing. I did try though, because I sometimes think it would be a bit easier.
Yeah, I'm like, this would be beautiful. I know so much about vaginas. I love women. I know how to make them feel so safe and like,
Yeah.
yeah, but apparently my body just responds much more to men. So I am going to talk on men here. When men started opening up to me, before I fully opened up with myself, I didn't like it. It made me feel uncomfortable. And our partner, this is like the quote of the podcast at the moment, our partner will only meet us as deep as we're able to meet ourselves, which is what you've just
Yes.
said. But they
Yes.
will mirror to us something. So if you're trying to vulnerably open up with your partner and your partner is responding with fixing you, providing solutions. This is the main complaint of women in heterosexual
Yes.
relationships, that men are fixers. They're very logical minded. They come in with their solutions. So when we're vulnerable, they often try to fix it. But I would use that as very important data to say, well, where are we fixing ourselves as women? Where are we hearing what's going on in our heart and saying, oh, that's wrong. I can't feel this. That's not right. I need to fix that. I need to be all love and light and all, this is my recent rant, all soft girl, just peaceful and easy, none of the hard emotions. This soft girl
Oh,
trend is going crazy and it's not leaving
I
space
know.
for
It isn't, and it's been
rest.
going for quite some time. And I keep thinking surely it's going to be over, but it's not.
Yeah.
And it's damaging. Anyway, I've interrupted you. Please continue.
No, it's beautiful to talk on it because one of my questions for you is about softness and it is about rest. And I know this is something that you're passionate about in a very healthy way because you lead your clients to meet the depths of themselves before that softness comes. The best way I can describe it to people, and I did a post on Instagram about it yesterday, which for anyone listening to this podcast will now be in the past, but you can go and find it, is that you can't meet your softness without meeting your savage. And the metaphor I can give is that I used to be a yoga teacher. And if I taught a really hardcore yoga class, everyone at the end meditation, when they reached Shavasana and they were in the end relaxation, they would go so much deeper into rest because they'd worked really hard in the yoga and they'd tired themselves out so they could surrender fully in the meditation. But if their mind was really busy when they came into class and then I just did a really soft, slow class, then their mind was still busy at the end. We have to meet the darkness so that we can meet the light. We have to. So, in terms of the heart, I would describe that as you can only feel the deep love, the intense, deep, sacred union that you want to feel with your romantic partner if you've met the grief and the heartbreak and the sadness and the depths within yourself. Because it is the law of the universe. There's duality, there's polarity, there's two sides, there's night and day, there's sad and happy. You can't have one. You can't have all sunshine and rainbows and happiness all the time without meeting that other polarity, that other side of the coin. So it is deeply my belief that to really enter your soft girl era, to really feel soft as a woman, like you said, which feeling soft as a woman is having an open heart. It's having compassion for others and empathy and being able to feel deep love and soften the armor around your heart. But to soften the armor, I feel like you got to realize why it's there in the first place. You got to visit the pain of what made you harden and why it didn't feel safe to be soft. And when you meet that pain, like I do in my work, where I make women meet the rage of all the times that their no was ignored, of all the times that they said yes when they meant no, and I lead them into a big voice activation of reclaiming their no and quite literally screaming the no's that they never got to say. And then the softness that comes after they've been brave enough to meet that rage and that wildness and that feral anger at the world and the patriarchy and the witch burnings and the whatever, the sexual abuser. Like, once you meet the anger, you can finally soften. You can finally open the heart again. But whilst you repress and you shove down everything, the armor stays and the softness isn't as available. So yeah, I'd love to talk to you on softness and
Well,
yeah.
yeah, that's true. And while you're suppressing everything, then that softness you're performing. And
Yes.
that's that performative spirituality and performative love and light, which is one of my biggest gripes. And I just, because often too, I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here, but with that love and light and that performative spirituality, we're taught to bypass the body because the body's not important. You want to get to this, you want to ascend, you want to do, you know, focus on the crown chakra of, sort of focus up here. And that's kind of it. And that will bring you that peace and that will, but unless you meet your depths of despair, which you have held in your body your whole life. And I truly believe we bring things through from previous lives as well, which we haven't dealt with. I know that's a little bit woo-woo, but that's something that I've experienced with myself and I've experienced it with clients as well. And so unless you plumb that despair, you don't, that's where you find the gold and the beauty and the love because you've alchemized it into something else. And then you can stop performing, you can stop being who everybody else wants you to be. Like I recognize that, men also have roles put on them, but obviously we're talking about women here. All the roles that we get put on us, and even little girls often get roles put on them as well. And, and we carry those and we lose ourselves in those roles and we kind of forget who we are. So you have to plumb those depths. And I don't feel that we need to. I think darkness can be just as beautiful as light if you've alchemized all the shit that you've taken on or that you believe about yourself. And once you've alchemized that dark, it's like, like a midnight sky, like it's beautiful. And then you can merge, the dark and the light, or I don't want to use hard and soft. And then you're actually a whole person or a whole person rather than complete, because we're not ever just one.
Mm.
And this soft girl era is such a, it really started with submissiveness and they've sort of changed it a little bit, but that's really the end of the day. That's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And women aren't here to be submissive. We're here to feel all the things that everybody else feels.
Yeah.
And, but we need to feel what's happened in our body and what we've carried
Mm.
and turn that into something that we can then give ourselves permission to rest and to thaw and to stop holding on to every single thing because it's exhausting. And, the self-care of having a glass of wine in the bath is fine, but that's not going to get you there. Then fortunately there's work that you need to do. And that glass of wine in the bath is just going to continue masking the things
Yeah.
that you're pretending aren't there in the first place.
Mm.
So by going back to the breast, by doing that regular massage, I love that you did that every day for 6 months. By doing that and by clearing your heart center. And we also have a heart center in our back body. Like there's a belief that the heart center at the front is the masculine heart and the heart center at the back is the feminine heart. So by massage, obviously we can't reach our back, but by massaging the front, then we clear it all the way through to the back. So it's almost like you have this gorgeous golden flower here and then a gorgeous silver flower at the back, and they're both blooming in
Mm.
tandem.
Wow.
And so then again, I'm going to use the word alchemize, with the alchemy within her. Then you kind of you're blending the two together to create something that's uniquely you.
Mm.
And I believe that as a society, in many ways, we're kind of cookie cutters of everybody else. And it's really sad because
Yeah.
we're all such beautiful individuals, but we're frightened to be who we are.
Yeah.
We're not taught that we're allowed to be who we are, or we're allowed to be different in ways that aren't socially necessarily thought of as socially acceptable or mainstream rather than socially acceptable.
Mm. Wow.
Um,
Yeah, thank you. This is why I didn't join TikTok ever. Because I feel like on TikTok it's about a cookie cutter world. And I'm not on
oh, it's
TikTok, so
tricky.
I can't say for sure. And maybe one day I will be because Instagram loves to put me in the naughty corner for talking about what I talk about. But TikTok.
I was on TikTok
Oh
for a little
yeah.
while. I thought I'll give it a go. Charlotte, don't go there. They put you in the naughty corner faster than Instagram will. Like I was in the naughty corner very quickly for having a painting. It was like a mural of a breast that
Mm.
got me in the naughty corner.
Oh
But
wow.
also too, there's an algorithm, obviously there's an algorithm, but I don't understand, well, I don't understand how the Instagram one works either. But for some reason, my account just kept getting shown to men. So my following was growing very
Oh.
quickly, but it was just all men. And I'm like, this is wasting my time. And, the DMs that men send strangers are mind-blowingly appalling.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm out. And as soon as I got rid of it, I felt like I'd shed,
Yeah.
100 kilos. I was like, I think I don't have to deal with that anymore. It was just doing my head in. And it's very cookie cutter.
Yeah. Okay. I'm convinced. Thank you. Thanks for
Okay.
thanks for protecting my soul. And
You are so welcome.
I've had so many men actually engaging on my posts in the past week on Instagram and leaving the best fucking comments. Like one man commented last night on my post about the soft girl era. And I was saying there's a fine line between between soft girl and silent girl. And I said
Oh,
too many women have crossed it. And like
very.
he commented and he was cheering on the savage feral raw real woman. He was like, I want a raw real savage woman. I don't want a soft girl. And he was in the comments like cheering on all of these wild witches that were like
That's
talking about,
fantastic.
yeah. So there's amazing men on the internet, and
They're just not on
sometimes
TikTok.
just TikTok is like a bit of a magnet for a different kind of human being, I feel. That's why I felt like I can't do it. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe one day, but right now, no. And I think you've just convinced me never.
It's not a
So,
vibe.
the performative softness, I like to call it the safe girl era, not the soft girl era. I'm done with the soft girl era, but the safe girl era, that is the
Yeah.
non-performative softness. I'd love to ask actually on accessing that safety through the heart space. And I have heard recently about this, the you know, that the back body is more receptive. Also, someone told me, because I live in on a very sunny Spanish island, someone told me you can receive more vitamin D through the back of your body. And I'm
Oh,
terrible. If I'm like ever in the sun, I'm always just sitting on a chair, front facing the sun. I'm not one of those people that lie with their back in the sun, and someone told me I should because you get more vitamin D through that way. So it is this feminine receptive side of the body on the back of us, also known as the lunar body, like you said, that
yes, the
silver.
silver. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have a little trick that you can share with us for working with the back of the heart space? Do you have any rituals that you do there to kind of access that lunar heart at the back?
Well, what's interesting too is that they say that the mouth of the goddess, so the feminine intuition, is actually here at the back, at the base of
Mm.
the head, right? So this will become relevant. So a really beautiful, and I learned this when I was doing my womb priestess work. So I would like to invite you to close your eyes. We can
Mm.
go through the ritual now if you would like.
I'd love that. Everyone, if you're driving, obviously don't close your eyes.
Obviously, no, no, if you're driving, please wait until you get home.
Yeah.
Or if you're desperate to do it, pull over.
Yeah, pull
Okay.
over. Yes, everyone pull over somewhere safely and do the practice.
Yes, that's right. Not on the freeway. Okay. So close your eyes and just take a deep breath in through your nose and see the breath leaving through your heart space, through the heart space at the front of your body. Take another breath in like that, just a deep breath in and out through that heart space. And now at the back of your body, there's a portal which directly matches where your heart space is at the front. So what I'd like you to do is breathe in through that back body, that back heart space, and you can visualize it as like a full silver moon to make it easier. So kind of breathe in through there and then breathe out through the front, which is like your golden sun. Now we're actually going to go down into your womb space, and if you've had your womb removed, the energy of your womb is still there, as is the energies of your ovaries. So your right ovary is like a golden sun, and your left ovary is like a silver moon. So as I'm speaking, I'd like you to picture your right ovary lighting up, almost like it's kind of like a little fireball. And then that traces up through to your solar plexus, where that lights up again like a golden fireball, up to your sacrum, to your heart space. We're not doing the colors of the chakra. Everything's literally gold. It's leading up to your throat chakra. With the back of your neck. So picture now a silver thread leading from your crown chakra to that space of the back of your neck, and that turning on like a beautiful silver moon. Then the silver thread going further down to that heart space and that silver moon turning on. Then further down again to where your sacrum would be, the silver moon. So everything's matching back to front through the front of your body. So everything's turning on gold. Hold it when you reach your crown. And then when you breathe out, you're breathing out through the back body where everything is turning on silver. So it's going back down to your left ovary, which is silver. When you breathe in, your right ovary, which is gold. And it continues this circuit, going all the way around through your body. And then that opens up the masculine, the giving, and the feminine, the receiving. That's the one that's really beautiful to do at sunrise or at sunset. Those portals, everything tends to be a little bit more open. And if it's something that you're able to do, you find the time to do on a regular basis, you could even begin with a breast massage and opening up your breasts and that heart area, and then move down to the ovaries and start that circuit. And just continue it for as long as you like until you feel complete.
Thank you. Thank you for that beautiful offering to me, to everyone in the audience. I feel very grounded, very connected. I can feel my right ovary. My right ovary always talks to me a bit more. I used to have some cysts there, and I wonder if there's some scarring. I can always feel her much more than the left, but maybe that's something about masculine and feminine as well. So my right ovary is really like,
easy to kind of be in our masculine, I think.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I do understand the soft girl era. I understand that women are trying to get more into their feminine. However, I really love you terming it as safe girl era
yeah,
because we need that balance of both. We're the fire, we're the gold and we're the silver. We're both. We're not just one.
yeah,
And by being in one energy or the other, you're causing an imbalance, which will then affect every area of your life.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing us back into wholeness today with the lunar and the solar, the masculine, the feminine, the giving, the receiving, the gold and the silver. Thank you for giving all your wisdom about the breasts and the heart, and I just want to recognize your years of wisdom of serving women and working with women's bodies and really like praise you for that. I feel like I've just
Thank you.
started my path in the last 5 years of working with women's bodies physically, and it's like it's incredible. So I just want to like bow down and just bow down to the priestess within you. Where can
Thank
we
you.
where can we find you? Where can everyone find you? Where can we work with you? Where can we get the balm? I'll obviously put all the links in the show notes, but anything
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah.
absolutely. So I've put together something for the listeners of the Wet and Worthy Woman podcast. So the link for that is alchemywithinher.com. I'll send all that to you, / Wet and Worthy Woman. So that will give you a discount on the balm. Plus, there's a ritual there which I've put together for you. So it's a spoken ritual, or if you prefer to read it, you can do that as well. So you have the option of both. Yeah. And
Wow.
thank you so much for having me.
Such an honor. Like your product has really blown me away, blown my clients away. It'll be coming on the Wet and Worthy Woman retreat in March, in just a couple of, well, just a few weeks. So yeah, really excited to keep spreading your magic and learn more about your art and the art of the breasts, and to spread this wisdom to women. This was a really divine conversation that's never been had here on the podcast. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank
Oh,
you.
you're most welcome. I'm so glad. And I really enjoyed being here. Thank you.
We'll see you soon, Monica. Everyone go to the show notes and find that ritual. Connecting with your heart space is going to be really transformational.